Hello and a big welcome to the aid station. Today, hugely excited to be heading to Brazil, one of the countries that has been most hit by COVID. It's been really tough there, and looking forward to hearing some amazing insights from an inspirational man, Daniel Krutman, who's the CEO of Ticket Agora, and he's joining us from Sao Paulo in Brazil. Hey Daniel, great to see you.
Hi, Chris. Thank you for having me around. And it's nice to talk to you. It's nice to talk to all these people that are seen as all around the world. Um, Best time we're having here.
Yeah,
Thank you.
wonderful, wonderful. We had a great chat last week where you kindly did an interview from me, of me, and yeah, just so great to hear some of your story in the lead up to that. You've got a great story to tell, and why don't we start by hearing a little bit of your background, please, Daniel?
Okay, let's go. So, Chris, I am currently the CEO from Ticket Agora, which is like Ticket Now in Portuguese. And we are the biggest sellers of registrations here in Brazil. We had like uh, 850 clients right now that are all event organizers in Brazil. We had like 25 to 30 percent of share of market. So we are the biggest here around. And of course, now we're struggling a lot against the pandemic status, but
There, your numbers from 2019. I think you said 800,000 registrations across events
that's it.
in Brazil. Yeah.
That's it. And more than 2,000 events all around Brazil. We estimate that we have 7,000 events, sport events here in Brazil per year, and they are all locked down right now. But as my background, I had worked from 4 years in event producers to sports here in Brazil, and then I went to Ticket Agora. I'm already there for 5.5 years, and now I'm leading this great challenge. We had big achievements in the past, in the very short past. In 2019, we had like this great growing, and now is the time that we have to stay stronger than ever. So my background in sports, it's from 10 years by now. I worked in content before. And from my graduation, I am an advertising man. Then I went to several MBAs and all this stuff. And now I'm ready to talk to you about our crisis and our tough time around.
Wow, I mean, what a great background, and you're a
Thank you.
student, and you're before we came on air, you were saying you've been teaching people digital integration
Yeah.
into sports, so you love to share your knowledge, and you've been studying as a futurist as well. So a man who loves education, which is wonderful, and digital so crucial to our industry, and even more crucial now in these tough times. Tell us about what's life like in Brazil at the moment. I've read some really
Yeah.
tough stuff in the papers, but tell us what it's like from your perspective.
Every single day, we hear that we achieved the peak. We are breaking records day after day on death and on new people with COVID, and so it's the very worst time to be around here. We say that we are in the worst place to have COVID right now in the world, in the whole world, and we got like 4,000 deaths per day right now. I don't know where it's gonna be, where we're gonna get with that. But our government, I'm not entering in this aspect on this conversation, but it's uh, natural to say that our government was the worst, was very incompetent in how to deal with COVID since the beginning. So now we are like getting what this planted like few months ago. So now we have this worst scenario, and all the things are locked down. We have no uh, commerce that are not like very needful for people that are open. Everything is quite closed right now, and so there is all the events, not just sports events, but all the events market is like struggling to be alive and to like get through it. And I don't know, it's a worse scenario, man. We have like the hospitals are all packed up. We have no more units for treatment, intensive treatment around. We have like 200,000, 200% of the hospitals packed. I mean, it's the worst case. And I think, I'm sorry to say that we are in the worst place to deal with COVID in the whole world right now. That's our feeling.
Yeah, yeah. And just quickly talk about the lockdown. What does that mean? You're allowed to go out to exercise, to run, to walk. You're allowed to go and get groceries, and that's about the extent of life at the moment, is it?
No, it's we can leave home. It's not that locked down, but commerces are not open, malls are not open, shoppings are not open, streets are not open. We can like go around with our kids and to walk around the neighborhood, but all in masks, of course, and all with protection, of course. Now it's entering the winter as well, so we have another problem that are flu problems. It's coming uh, just in the worst period of COVID as well. So now the feeling is not that good. We're not locked in house, but we are like very short limited options to do around.
Wow. And the economy, which was struggling even before COVID, as you've alluded to, has been decimated. Really tough. Wow. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I think clearly lots of challenges, but share with us, what have been the biggest challenges during COVID, and how have you managed to overcome some of those?
Well, I think the main one is to keep hope around. As we talk with our clients, they are like all very sad and in a bad mood right now. They're all people with different backgrounds. They have we have big clients, we have medium clients, we have small clients. They're feeling very lonely right now because they think that they could do something about this problem that they could not, and we keep telling them right now. So our biggest challenge is to keep everything like um, with a hope, with some light in the end of the tunnel, and we have to keep the spirit up. So this is the main challenge here in my company as well. We try to like keep growing, keep growing as persons, as a team, as a culture, and we are working a lot in culture, in strategy. We're being creative. It's a time to be creative. It's the best time to be creative as well. I think that we having to look inside. It's a very good time to be creative. So I think the main challenge is this hope, hope challenge, and to keep a narrative, to keep a storytelling that inspires and keep people moving, because we're gonna get it. We're gonna go after it.
Yeah, and I think the point you make is, hope is. There's no doubt in my mind that, and I was hosted a webinar last night for World Athletics. The future is incredibly bright for our industry all over the world. We have a massive role to play. There was some research that was shared there, and I keep seeing more and more research about the number of people that have taken up running, the number of people that have taken up cycling. The really interesting one, we had Run Repeat last night, and they were talking about, people are seeing outdoor as a replacement for the gym with no intention of going back to the gym. Many people are saying outdoor is the way we want to go, and our industry is so well positioned as long as it can be creative. So that creativeness of being able to bring people to our events, and I always like to talk about leadership on the aid station, and you're a real leader. You're doing so much work in the community. Talk to us about leadership for you. What does it mean? Some of the things you're doing with the alliance that you helped to seed in Brazil, of bringing the
Yeah.
industry together for the first time. It's crucial with that hope to have leadership to kind of instill the hope and lead us out of it.
I think for the first time in this history of this industry here in Brazil, we have some connection between the players. From the day I began in this, I don't remember that different players were talking about anything. Um, and now they are like getting really together and discussing the future of this market and trying to be more positive because they are together, and this makes them strength. more strong. So my role in all of this was like uh, to be a facilitator, something like that. I put these people together and I connect people. That's one of my main jobs around. So I have to keep going connections all the times, because I think that's how people can strive. It's how they get success from what is happening now. And I always say about about a thing, that a network, a real network, not just a social network, a network that like stays if you like take one of these dots out. So I think we are in this kind of leadership here. It's like uncentralized. Everyone is it's a leader. It's empowered to be a leader. And I think my role in this is to empower people and to say that, yes, they can talk and nothing's going to happen, if just good things are going to happen. And also in my team, as I told you, to keep hope up and to keep the good spirit. That's the thing we need more, to recognize ourselves as persons and not just as a company.
Yeah, the whole power of collaboration, which has been, there've been many positives that have come out of this, but what I've seen industry wide is exactly what you pointed to. People who always viewed themselves as competitors are now sitting at the same table saying,
That's it.
for the better of the industry, if we're a strong industry, the next time something like this comes along, we're going to be much more resilient if we can lean on each other. So talk about your kind of one of your leadership principles, which you've already shared, is this whole importance of connecting people. But any other kind of leadership principles, any great mentors you've had? We've got so many people that watch the podcast that are future young leaders of the industry. We were talking the other day, I think our industry is going through a massive transformation, and we're going to have this amazing influx of new young leaders, which every industry need. But if they were listening here, what would be some of your guiding tips that you might share with a young person that aspires to be a leader in our industry?
I like a lot to quote my grandfather, and I had the opportunity and the great, the great chance to be very stick to him, very around him, and he was very wise man. And all the great lessons I remember was coming from him. And then I always seek from people who looks like him around, and to like pick up some quotes and some stories from them. So here I would like to quote Chip Conley, which is the guy that inspired that movie The Intern with I think is with De Niro. And this guy, he worked on Airbnb when in the start of Airbnb, side by side with the CEO and with the CDO, and he was like an advisor to them. And the history is how like he emerged again in his life. He thought that he was lost because he was like 60 or 55 in a market, in the startup market. And this guy, he says something that touched my heart a lot. And I had the opportunity to see his lecture once in South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. So this guy, he said something like that learning is the elixir of life. And he said that we must keep learning. We must keep our ears, our eyes, our heart open. And that, for me, it's what keeps the leadership going on, to listen to people, to be listenful, not just listen, to really listen with intention, with love, really having this vibe on listening. This is when creativity emerges. This is when the best conversations emerge, and that's what I'm trying to do right now. So Chip Conley say that learning is the elixir of life, and to listen is to learn. And I I intend to keep learning all my life. That's a thing I have to say.
Wow, great insight, fantastic insight. And as always, the time flies along. I always like to end on an inspirational piece. Have you got an inspiring story that you'd love to share with the viewers?
Uh, I think that today I had this good meeting around with organizers, and was very emotional because we are like striving. We are trying to keep fighting, and then was a time there was a cry. So a good old organizer was crying, and everyone who was in the room was so touched and so inspired by his suffering that uh, I think we all tried to change his life and to change his mind in this time, and it was incredible. So I think when a group of people are together, we can like think better and we can do better. So this guy was feeling alone. So if I could say something, is don't leave anyone alone. Uh, talk to people that you are together. Talk to people that you are side by side for anything that they need. Uh, you may not get to help them right away, but you know, feeling that you have something to back you up means um, much more than money or success, or I don't know, or when it's gonna be everyone vaccinated, when the events are around. I think here is the time for us to build something that is stronger than uh, business.
Wow, what a great story, and you know, so many people obviously feeling alone. Depression is skyrocketing, and you know, so wonderful for that man that he felt that he was in a safe enough space to be able to cry amongst business colleagues, because I think that's one of the
Yeah.
things in many cultures, and you know, even cultures that are accepting of crying is like, you know, the whole kind of big boys don't cry thing. We shouldn't cry,
Yeah.
you know, to have that
Here is not
emotion.
accepted at all.
Yeah,
In a business meeting, it's not accepted.
yeah.
It
That is
was
wow.
shocking.
Congratulations for you to for you to have built that safe environment. Daniel, we
Thank you.
could talk for hours. It's so wonderful to hear your story. I know we're going to continue to connect and work together and help, you know, exchange
Yeah.
where we can. You know, I'm loving learning from you, and being able to share with the event industry in Brazil, because there's no doubt that it's going to boom again. So just, you know, to finish, say thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for making the time, and all the very best over the next few weeks and months.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate very much. You know, we need your help, your enthusiasm, your information, and we'll be here. We are in Brazil. We are not feeling alone because of you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. That's very kind of you. Take care, Daniel.